My name is Daniel Dennett, and today we'll be talking about confined spaces. Confined spaces. 2 people, on average, will not go home to their families this week alone due to a confined space accident, injury, or death. Knowing this, we need to know what exactly is a confined space. What does that mean to me? So, OSHA has defined a confined space as a space that is large enough and so configured that an employee can enter and perform assigned work. So they've also said it's and has limited or restricted means for entry or exit, and is not designed for a continuous occupancy. So with these ands right here, you can see that all 3 of these parameters have to be met. So knowing that, we can look at these 3 right here. Does an employee fit in all of these right here? Yes. Are they designed for continued occupancy? I would say no, 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 not really, but if you put a bed in there, I'm sure I could take a nap. And the last is limited entry or exit. So limited, limited, limited. You can see the ladder right here. This one I can walk right out of. So if we just miss the target on one right here, if that one definition doesn't meet, remember it's and. So this right here is not a confined space, the rest of these are. In these confined spaces, there are hazards that we need to be aware of. These hazards is oxygen. Is there enough oxygen to support life? So the oxygen content needs to be between 19.5 and 23.5. Are there any explosive gases? If there are, they have to be less than 10% of the LEL, which is the lower explosive limit. H2S, hydrogen sulfide, needs to be less than 10 parts per million. And our last is carbon monoxide. We've also all heard about carbon monoxide poisoning. It needs to be less than 35 parts per million. So these right here are the parameters that we need to work within to make sure that we do not have a hazardous condition. So the question is, what if we test the atmosphere and we find that there is a hazardous? Well, right here, OSHA says, and here's our regulations, OSHA says that you must test the space first. So we test it, we have our gas tech, we drop the tube in, it pulls the atmosphere up into it, it tests it, it says we have a hazardous condition. Continuous forced air ventilation must be used. So you pipe fresh air down, you have a blower that's blowing fresh air, and you have to clear the space, you have to retest it before the employee can enter. Leave the space immediately if a hazard is detected. So as soon as one is detected, employee has to get out. Measures shall be implemented to protect employees from the hazard before they can re-enter the space. So, in summary, we need to be cautious with confined entry. With these spaces, we need to know what they are and know what the hazards are. Once we know our hazards, we need to eliminate the hazards, making sure we're not putting ourselves in a bad situation. And lastly, let's all go home at the end of the day. We all have family and people that care for us, and let's be safe out there. Thank you.